let's talk about Arby's. She is now on the Arby's payroll. Decided that it was a match made in roast beef heaven. Hot girls eat Arby's. No knock on Arby's, Sophie, but if you give Arby's 9 out of 10, I'll take you to Racks. I'll buy you some Racks, and I think you will find that hot girls probably eat Racks. Arby's has a new spokeswoman, and it just so happens to be Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, that's right. Sophie Cunningham, who took to her social media to discuss how much she enjoyed a trip that she made to Arby's. And well, let's take a look, because Arby's saw this and decided that it was a match made in roast beef heaven.
Like, not bad. I definitely douse it in Arby's sauce. Very much a condiments type of girl. Love the sauce. Okay, one sec. Okay, this is it. They're little. I can say
Fine dining right here.
I haven't had Arby's in a really long time. I think for obvious reasons. But why did I ever go away from them?
Arby's, they weren't dissuaded, obviously, by the little shade that she threw at them there between enjoying her yummy sandwich, saying that she went away. She doesn't have it often for obvious reasons. Well, what are those obvious reasons, Sophie? Anyway, she is now on the Arby's payroll, is what is happening. And maybe Arby's is going to snap back to relevance now. Here she is in the new shirt that we saw her in this weekend. Hot girls eat Arby's. And apparently sizes small and large have already sold out on the Arby's web. This is a big day for Arby's. Arby's has been waiting for their viral moment for fucking decades now. I enjoy it. I like to go by. Sometimes I like to ring the bell when I leave. Have you been to an Arby's recently? They got the little bell. Yeah. Well, let's see that shirt one more time. Look at this, because you might be seeing this. This might be the I'm a pepper, you're a pepper of our generation right here. I got to tell you, that looks a little more like Racks to me. Is that Arby's or is that Racks? I like Racks. Do you remember Racks? Ron, we all like Racks, don't we?
Ricky, I worked at Racks.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it was my first real job was I worked at Racks.
Well, dude, take a look at this. This is a picture that I took myself. Just dined at the last Racks in Illinois, and one of only 6 left in the entire goddamn US of A. Better than Arby's. It's a fucking roast beef injustice. Racks used to be plentiful. So plentiful, in fact, that the international streaming star worked there. There are only 6 locations left in our entire country. Luckily for me, one of them is in Joliet, Illinois, and about once every month or two, I take the kids there, and I get curly fries and a roast beef sandwich, and I'm here to tell you, it is in fact better than Arby's. No knock on Arby's, Sophie, but if you give Arby's 9 out of 10, you need to come to Joliet. I'll take you to Racks. I'll buy you some Racks, and I think you will find that hot girls probably eat Racks as well. Hot guys used to work there, apparently. Maybe.
Oh, Tim.
Well, maybe meat.
Oh, Tim.
Maybe meat was on the mind of the person who threw this on the court last night at an Atlanta Dream game. Look at that. That looks like something that looks like something that TSA would pull out of Ronnie's luggage as he goes through. It is that is an adult toy. Ron, a dildo, a neon green dildo.
Is that somebody with a Martian fetish?
Onto the court. Well, that looks like the dick that you get probed with if you get zapped up in a UFO abduction incident. You lose about 8 hours and the aliens work on you with that thing. Anyway, some wise ass threw this onto the court during a Golden State Valkyries Atlanta Dream Tilt in Atlanta. And now it is going to join the rich history of items that have been thrown on playing surfaces in the history of sports. We're going to do a little Gimme 5 later in the program, talking about our favorite things. And I hope nobody's wig got knocked off, Ronnie. You got to be careful when you're firing dildos around WNBA games. You might catch a weave and knock it off and send somebody out of the ball game scurrying to safety, where they will be proclaimed as doubtful parentheses wig to return for the second half of action. And you wonder, how are you going to follow a wig getting yanked off? And it just seems like, as Dan Dockich said on the program yesterday, there's always more stupidity coming. He said, I have a feeling there's going to be more stupidity in store. And the very night
did Dan throw it?
He says
did
that,
Dan know and he threw it?
A dildo. Do we know? Can we confirm whether or not Dan Dockich was in at the Atlanta area last night? Can we rule out that? Were there any naked men seen fleeing from the scene? If so, we may have a suspect for this one. But a lot of us remember the old Buffalo Bills New England Patriots dildo. This now, Ronnie, might surpass that. I think that it probably has. If all of this nonsense in the WNBA sounds like pro wrestling to you, you're not
Ricky,
alone.
Look at the caption, Ricky. Look at the caption.
Bus. Oh my God. Oh, Dylan, you're something, young man. Jeannie Buss, the former owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, Dr. Jerry Buss's daughter. She happens to be now the co-owner of WOW, which is the Women of Wrestling. It is an all-female wrestling promotion. And she's intrigued by Sophie Cunningham's potential to be a pro wrestler, making her an offer that presumably Sophie is going to refuse. Jeannie Buss tweeting, "We would love to have Sophie Cunningham join us. She's talented, dedicated, and a fierce competitor." And I would think that Sophie Cunningham probably would make a fine addition to any professional wrestling roster. She's lovely. She's tough. I presume she's coordinated enough that she could learn to do the moves. Maybe we'll see her. Although the way Sophie's going, the WWE might be a better destination for her. Ronnie, let me now welcome to the program officially the international streaming star, also the Ricky Cobb Show official dildo correspondent. He is, of course, Nashville, Tennessee's own Ronnie T-shirts. I'm not even sure where to begin with you, but I'm going to begin with Rax. Now, give me the 30-second answer. Don't give me the Rand Paul filibuster answer, but tell me about your experience, slinging roast beef in Ohio back in the day.
Yeah, there was this Rax that was probably about 2 miles from my house, and back when I was in high school, that's what fast food jobs were for, right? They were for high school students, not people trying to support their families and get $20 an hour like they're trying to get other places. I remember, Ricky, minimum wage at the time was $3.45, and because I wasn't 18 yet, the law was you could pay people 17 and under. Well, I guess 16 and 17, only $2.95. So I was only making $2.95 an hour. But yeah, dude, I love Rax. Does your Rax in Joliet have a salad bar? Because their salad bar was the best. Like, they had an awesome salad bar.
There's no salad bar. I think they're just playing by their own fucking rules now.
Probably.
I don't know how this one, there's one one Kmart left.
It's in
the
Florida,
continental United States.
It's in Florida,
I think.
Florida. Yeah.
And so I don't know. I guess you get to make your own fucking rules.
I was at that. Remember last year? I sent pictures from my vacation when we went to Oregon of the only Blockbuster.
Yeah.
So
the last block, is Is that still open, the
Yeah.
Blockbuster?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. There's something kind of awesome about knowing there's one Kmart
Mm-hmm.
and one Blockbuster and a handful of racks out there. All right. So as I said, the dildo getting chucked onto the court. We got, it's like, remember that song, It's Raining Men? The Weather Girls. Do you remember those ladies? Hallelujah. It's raining men. It was raining
It's
dildos.
raining, man.
That's right. Hallelujah. It's raining dildos. Well, it has rained various objects on the playing fields and courts and so forth in the history of sports. And so today we thought this might be a good opportunity for us to do a little something that we like to call Gimme Five, Ron. And today it's going to be 5 objects that have been thrown onto courts through the years. And so let's bring in producer Tim at this point. And Tim, I don't know if you want to get us started here, but what for you when I talk about objects that we have seen famously or infamously in some cases make their way onto playing fields, what comes to mind for you?
Yeah, Ricky, there's a couple ways to go with this. Fans behaving poorly, traditions. I'll start with one that I sort of had a firsthand experience with as we go. Give me 5 here. Throwing batteries on the field. Yankee fans, shame on you. I was there many years ago when you remember Roberto Alomar spit at that umpire. The chant in the crowd. I think they were there maybe 4 or 5 games later, but Yankee fans chanting Alomar spit, but I've got batteries. So they hurled batteries on the field at Roberto Alomar. And I think the picture we have here of Yankee fans, Pedro Martinez also spoke about it as well. I think he was showered down with Yankee fans, with batteries there. So fans behaving poorly. I'm going to start there. We saw trash on fields. Yeah. We see bottles, but Yankee fans is my first. Yankee fans. What else do you got?
I seem to remember. You have to fact check me on this, but I seem to remember that Dave Parker wore a batting helmet in right field one time because fans were throwing batteries.
No joke. Wow.
Look it up. Yeah. J.D. Drew got batteries thrown at him in Philadelphia, I believe. So yeah, there's history there, and they're like D batteries too.
Yeah, they could hurt.
Triple A's.
They could hurt. Unlike that rubber object last night, which really wouldn't hurt. It would just be more humiliating.
Don't underestimate the impact of getting hit with a dildo that's been thrown at 50 miles an hour. Tim.
What say you, Ron?
Personally,
what say you, Ron?
So I don't know if you're going to have any supporting picture for this, but if I'm not mistaken, didn't somebody throw like a cup of, I don't know, beer or water onto the court at that Pistons game, and that's what kind of sent Artest into his tizzy at the Malice in the Palace?
Yeah, it was sort of a dump, pour, push. Yeah. But not one of our gimme 5s, Ron, is listed in the rundown.
No, it's not. It's not. The Buffalo Bills.
Thanks
the Buffalo
for
Bills.
Into the rundown this morning, Ron. It's always helpful.
The Buffalo Bills, the originator,
like a feral animal on this program. Is
the
what
Bills,
you are.
the Bills
Just
fans, the originator of the dildo on the field.
Yes, you can always count on the Bills Mafia.
And look at that.
Yeah. Ron Artest took exception to that. Went after the wrong guy, unfortunately. You look up and you got Ron Artest just bearing down on you because some other Yahoo tossed a beer. But,
there you are, Ron.
There's the Bills.
My God.
There's the Bills.
That looks like it has that extra attachment that.
Oh, well, how would you know about that, Ricky?
Yeah.
How would you know? How would you know about that, Ricky?
I don't. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me, Ron. How about this one? We just had the anniversary a couple of weeks ago of Disco Demolition Night here in Chicago, Comiskey Park, July 12th, 1979. They were going to blow up disco records in the outfield between games of a doubleheader. Steve Dahl, a local radio personality here. It was a Bill Veeck promotional thing. We're going to blow up disco records, Disco Demolition. And when they started doing it, they fucked up the field really bad, messed everything up, ended up having to not cancel the second game. It was a riot. Fans were going onto the field. They were throwing disco records onto the field that they had brought. That's Steve Dahl right there. And Steve Trout, who was a pitcher for the White Sox at that time, I interviewed him once, and he told me that he almost got killed by a Village People record, that the records were just being thrown onto the field. Steve Kemp, who played for the Detroit Tigers, told me that he'd gotten injured in the first game, and I think they took him to the hospital for observation. I can't remember what his injury was, but he said as he was coming back, he could see records being thrown out of the upper deck from outside the stadium as he was going back to the ballpark to rejoin the Tigers. So that one was absolutely insane. It wasn't just one thing that went on the field. It was a lot of things that went on the field, and it got out of hand real fast.
Pretty wild
that,
stuff,
me,
Ricky.
Would be a pretty big one. Yeah, Village People records.
Pretty wild stuff. I do
in a threatening way.
I do think we need to do our little 15 or 20-minute documentary on disco demolition. We've asked enough people about it. But so for number 4, I'm going to stay in the Midwest here. I'm going to stay in the Midwest, a little more wholesome here, family program as we chug along here. How about the octopus on the ice in Detroit?
A little late to be a family program now, Tim. Not sure we can walk back the first 15 minutes of this show.
But the octopus on the ice.
Bring the kids in now, everybody. It's okay. Gather the children now. We promise it'll be okay for the next hour. You can trust us.
It's always wild that someone smuggles this in. You know, a couple plastic bags. I don't know, down their pants and their shirt. Like, how are you getting an octopus in the arena?
Yeah, Tim. They do catfish here in Nashville.
You know the origin of that, though, right?
I vaguely do. Yes, Ron, on catfish.
Do you know why it's catfish? Is there a reason?
I don't know that. I don't know the story of why they do catfish in Nashville.
All right. Well, the reason for the octopus. This originated in Detroit with Red Wings fans, and the reason it's an octopus is the 8 tentacles represented the 8 playoff games you needed to win to get the Stanley Cup back then. There were only 6 teams in the league back then, the original 6, right? So to win the playoffs, you had to win 2 best-of-7 series. So you got to post 8 W's, 8 tentacles. So that's the reason there.
Professor Cobb, I love it.
The more you fucking know.
So they could have used spiders. They just went with octopus.
They could have used... they could have thrown hexagons on the ice, Ron, I suppose. Or
we got one more, Ricky.
Rather. Hexagons are 6. I'm sorry, octagons. God damn it. Okay, go ahead.
But that's why you're the former professor. I did not know the 8 tentacles. That's a good one.
That's why I didn't teach. That's why I wasn't a professor of geometry, however. So what, we need one more, Tim, or are you going to do the honors?
No, you can. I think no one of you guys can. Right. No list is complete without this original. I will. Well, I will. How about Reggie bars? Ooh.
How about Reggie Jackson's candy bar that was thrown on the field? They gave away Reggie bars. What was this? Was it 79?
It was it was after he hit the 3 in the World Series, I believe. I thought it was 78.
All right, well then that would have been 78 then. But they gave away Reggie bars. You know, Ron is, I think Reggie had his own candy bar for a while, and they actually carried it. I remember being in the grocery store when I was a little kid, and the Reggie bars were out with Hershey bars and Milky Ways and everything else. But they gave these away, and Reggie hit a homer, and the fans started throwing Reggie bars onto the field as appreciation. And I now, of course, have a personalized autograph.
I was going to say, you have an autograph one, don't you?
Of Reggie bars, courtesy of Reggie's nephew, the great John Ferrara. So there you go. Shout out to John for hooking me up with that.
Yeah, we can't show that video, but the video is epic. The video is epic of the usher running.
Tim, do you have another one?
Yeah, we have one. We have one more, Ricky. We
We're gonna give you a
eschewed
bonus.
Reggie via text this morning. And I think we went with the OG. To me, Philadelphia snowballs, throwing snowballs at Santa. I think
Oh,
really
this
sort of
is
started this trend.
this is an Antonio Alfonseca edition of Give Me Five. We've got the sixth finger today, so there you go.
I think we
America. I
did
hope you
7 because of
appreciate
me. So
the work that we're doing. Well, I don't know anybody who has 7 fingers, so Ron, just work with me here. Eagles fans pelting Santa with snowballs, and they were the ones who booed Santa. You hear that story all the time that Eagles fans, Philadelphia fans are so fucking rough that they booed Santa Claus. So there you are, poor Santa Claus. All he does is bring joy and love and happiness to children all over the world. Well, not so fast in Philadelphia. Fuck you, buddy. So we gave you 5. There you go. Tim, do you want to go to poll of the day, or do you want to cover a couple
No,
other
listen.
items here?
No, listen. It could have gotten worse, right? You mentioned it. You don't know what it would feel like getting hit with that plastic
Yeah.
object in your face, but it could have gotten worse. We have this video, Luke Bryan concert over the weekend, getting pelted in the face. So I want to be an equal opportunity sort of offender here, Ricky. I think you have to sort of not offend just one side of the aisle or the other. So Luke Bryan, take a look here, getting hit with a plush ball in his face, does not miss a beat, and away we go.
He was singing "Country Girl, Shake It for Me," Ron.
country girl,
When he
shake
got
it
pelted.
for me.
Shake it for me, now. Yeah.
Shake it for
And then
me.
just pow, right in the face.
What
I remember
did he
David
get hit
Bowie
with,
got
Tim?
hit in the face by like Lollipop years ago. Got hit
Yeah,
in
it's
the
like a-
eye. So
Like a plush ball, Ronnie, like a soft, one of those. I don't know if it was quite a
yeah.
bigger size hacky
Yeah.
sack or something.
Well, Tom Jones used to get hit by Ricky. You'll know this.
yes, he did. I saw Tom Jones at the House of Blues years ago, and somebody threw their panties to the stage. There were a few panties that went on the stage, but somebody threw their panties from like the balcony area. But the
Okay.
panties were so large that they
Like
caught
granny
too much
panties?
wind resistance.
It was like
Yeah,
parachute.
they didn't make it.
It's like a parachute.
They did. They just parachuted down like 10 feet in front of the stage. When she was 20, they probably would have made it. All right, so yeah, I like what you're saying, Tim, because you're saying, hey, we want to be fair. We're talking about
Is that a picture of me?
dildos
Is
being
that a
thrown
picture of
at-
me?
Oh my God,
Ricky, look at that.
Oh my God! Stop it! Jesus. Well, I'll never be able to have sex again. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the boys down in Nashville today. That's it for me. I will be voluntarily celibate for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, sweetheart, if you're watching. I just said yesterday that I possess special talents. I will now retire from sex altogether because that horrific image. Okay, so we were talking about that. So it's only fair that we go to the other side and say, all right, Luke Bryan, there's something that got hurled at a guy. Jay Leno talking about late night television, Ron. We've talked about Stephen Colbert got canceled. Sonny Hostin believed that it was an assault on the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because a late night talk show got canceled. Jay Leno talking about how he believes that comedy shows, late night comedy shows, need to get away from being so politically partisan. The quote here from Leno: I like to think people come to a comedy show to kind of get away from the pressures of life, whatever it may be. I love political humor, don't get me wrong, but people wind up cozying up too much to one side or the other. Why shoot for just half of the audience? Why not try to get the whole audience? I like to bring people into the big picture. I don't know why you would want to alienate one particular group. That sounds a lot like Michael Jordan
Yeah.
when he said
Republicans buy sneakers too. Yep.
Yeah. So, and we had a clip from Johnny Carson on the show not long ago where Carson was talking about the dangers of doing this, because somewhere along the way, all of the main network late night shows became hyper politically partisan. They just did. And Gutfeld filled a void. One of the reasons that Gutfeld is so popular, the reason in many respects that Gutfeld is so popular, is it provided a yin to the yang for people who were turned off by hearing political opinions that were directed against what they believed. So, the tradition in the old days was, as you came out, you made fun of everybody. Johnny Carson, he would make fun of Jimmy Carter. He would make fun of Ronald Reagan. He made fun of whatever there was to poke fun at, but it wasn't coming out in just bam, 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 where it's like MSNBC comedy hour. And I think that's where we've arrived. And I think Colbert getting canceled is perhaps a signal that we as a society are getting tired of these politically partisan comedy shows. And, maybe some of the other shows need to take a lesson from this before they meet the same fate that Stephen Colbert did.
Well, Ricky, you mentioned that they're one-sided, but they're also something else. They're mean-spirited. Like, they're not even funny. They're just mean-spirited on these the ABC, CBS, NBCs of the world. They're mean-spirited. Like, it's one thing to make a joke, if something happens and you want to go, ha ha, look at Trump just did, that's funny. You can make fun of them, but everything they do is mean-spirited. It's meant, when they do it, it's not meant to get laughs. It's meant to try to sway people to just hate him even more. And that's what their MO has been for like 8 years, 9 years.
There's truth in, there's definitely truth in that. The piece on me that was done in the New Yorker, and the guy who did the piece did a good job. He seems like a good guy. I got nothing bad to say about Nick, the writer who did the piece. I'm grateful that he gave me the exposure, but he did put a couple of little knocks in the piece about things that people had said on Gutfeld. And I felt like the context was a little deliberately twisted, because they were lighthearted comments that were made in jest that when you see them in print without hearing how they were delivered, they come off differently. Whereas I do think that the comments that you see, I think a lot of the Gutfeld stuff is very tongue-in-cheek, humorous type stuff, whereas it becomes very preachy when you tune into Colbert and you tune into some of these other late night shows where it seems like comedy isn't even the priority. Like, you go on Gutfeld, the laugh is the most important thing that's being gone for on that show. And that's what late night comedy should be. But you look at some of these other shows, it's not even really about being funny in a lot of cases. It's just, it's very much hyper partisan politics under the guise of comedy. And it resembles Johnny Carson, not at all. And it doesn't resemble what Leno did. I was always a Letterman guy, right? Back in the day when it was Leno, Letterman, I was just more Letterman because Late Night with David Letterman in the 1980s probably shaped my comedic sensibilities about as much as anything. But even Dave, as time went on, started to get too partisan for my liking at times. But what Dave was doing compared to what we see now was nothing.
Right.
So, I don't like to wish ill on anybody, but Colbert, I couldn't watch Colbert. If you enjoy flying dildos and dead octopi, why don't you consider signing up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind, our bi-weekly newsletter? We're having a lot of fun with it. All you got to do is head over to outkick.com/newsletters. Enter whatever email address you use for such nonsense, and we'll serve it up to you every other Thursday fresh, just like an Arby sandwich being enjoyed by Indiana fever phenom Sophie Cunningham. We have a lot of fun, though, with this. Honestly, the Margarita mailbag, you can send me your questions. Super 70s yourself, you can send me your childhood photos, and I will caption them for you. We did the Gimme 5 on the program today. We have a Gimme 5 segment in the newsletter as well, where every edition we will take on a different topic, and I'll list my top 5 choices in that category, whatever it may be. It's your backstage pass to Super 70 Sports. It's your backstage pass to the Ricky Cobb Show. It is the Ricky Cobb's Rewind newsletter. Just head over to outkick.com/newsletters and sign up, won't you? My guest today is a Cy Young Award winner, World Series MVP. In addition to being the man who holds the record for the most consecutive scoreless innings pitched in Major League history, also happens to be a big sports card collector and the co-owner of the Legends Attic in Claremont, California. My pleasure to welcome to the program the great Orel Hershiser. Orel, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ricky. Thanks for having me.
Well, Orel, tell me about this bounty, because there's a pretty special card in the 2025 Topps Chrome set, and I know you've got your eyes on it. You have made no secret about the fact that you want this card, and you're willing to make somebody an offer that they can't refuse. Let us know what's going on here.
Well, I've been told by the hobby that maybe the card's going to be worth $3,000 to $5,000. Who knows if I raise the value by going out there and saying I want it back, but I probably have hurt my negotiation, stance. But they're plane flight to Los Angeles, Dodger tickets, visit to the booth, visit and stay at the DoubleTree next to us here at Legends Attic. We're in Claremont off of Foothill, and right across the parking lot is a DoubleTree. I was excited to sign the card. It kind of reminded me of my first baseball card in the big leagues. It reminded me of my first autographed bat, where they actually, put your signature right into the bat, and the glove, the embroidered glove that has your name in it, because when in my generation, that was just something the big leaguers had. It was very custom. Now almost anybody can get an embroidered glove, but I'm part of the hobby. We started this store a little over a year ago. We've been very successful, but it's more like a museum of all kinds of stuff that is not for sale, and then the stuff that is for sale. We've made some great partnerships within the partnerships with Topps and other companies, and we're getting ready to expand even. We're probably going to have some other locations. We're probably going to have some casinos and some stores within those to start to expand, and we're just trying to service the fan, and part of servicing the fan is doing something exciting, and that's kind of how the bounty came about.
Well, Orel, you've got one of the great backgrounds in the history of any guest that we've ever had on the program. I'm peeping around over your shoulder, sneaking a look at that jersey back there and the stadium seats, and oh my God, there it is, and the Cy Young wasn't even in frame. All right, I gotta pull it together
right there.
Yeah,
hey,
that's
you got your own
outstanding.
cameraman here. I'm gonna charge you for that moving around.
Well, Orel, I certainly remember being excited to get my 1985 Topps Orel Hershiser back years ago. Been a fan of yours for many years, and look, I've got you here for a few minutes today. I have to ask you about 88. I was looking at your game log from 1988 today, and something that I had actually never noticed before until I looked into this. In 1988, you had 34 starts during the regular season, and you had 28 quality starts. People used to poo-poo the quality start a little bit years ago. Now, in 2025, the quality start, it means a little more, in this era. But 28 out of 34 times. Now, going into August of 88, you had only had 3 starts that weren't quality starts, and they were distributed out. You had like one a month. They were mixed among a lot of really outstanding outings. But you began August with a little bit of a rough patch. You had 3 starts in a row to begin the month of August that, by your standards, were not at the level that you were at that time. And your ERA on August the 14th actually peaked above 3 for the first time the entire season after the Giants knocked you out of the box. Only start you had the entire season that you didn't go at least 5 innings. You were out of there in 2 innings.
So much good news here, Ricky. Thank you.
The good news is around the corner, as you know, because starting on August the 19th, which was my 17th birthday, sir, you owned the baseball world all the way through October. It was a stretch of greatness, the likes of which we've really never seen before. Bob Gibson in 68 had a stretch that was incredible as well. But what you did over that time, I want people to know here real quickly. You went on a run from there before the scoreless inning streak started. You threw a shutout on August the 19th. Then you followed it up with a complete game, 2 runs. Next game, complete game, 2 runs. And then you were off. Shutout in September. And then the only thing that prevented you from just going all shutouts is you went 10 innings scoreless in an extra innings game to conclude the regular season. And of course, you got another pretty good right-handed Dodgers legend, Don Drysdale's consecutive scoreless inning streak. And then you went into the playoffs. 42 1/3 innings in the playoffs, 5 earned runs in the playoffs, MVP of the National League Championship Series, MVP of the World Series. You had an 0.65 ERA for your last 124 2/3 innings pitched in the 1988 season. So there's the good news. All right, I've given you the back rub there.
I appreciate the review. Appreciate the review.
Now tell me, Orel, what was it like during that period of time? Was it like an out-of-body experience? Those 2 months. How did you feel in complete control every time that you went to the mound? What was it like?
Yeah, I don't know how many strikeouts I averaged, but I'll bet you it was somewhere around 7 a game. So it's my fielders behind me. It's my catcher behind home plate. It's making the plays, getting a ground ball and needing a double play. There's all kinds of things that has to happen if you're not striking out like 14, 15 guys in a game, that really your whole team is behind you. But as far as me personally, as the streak got longer, I just started to deal with the pressure of I can throw one more sinking fastball away. I can throw one more curveball in the dirt when I'm ahead 0-1, 0-2. I can get a ground ball when there's a man on first and no out and get a double play. I just tried to think of future positive or perfect things and really then just try and duplicate and execute it. I think one of the biggest tips I got was from Sandy Koufax and then also Don Drysdale. But Sandy said to me, when you throw a pitch that is really like exactly the way you want to throw it, don't try and throw the next one better. Try and throw it the same. And that's what happened, I think, in the streak as far as the execution. It was about just repeat it. Don't try to do any better. Because when you throw a good curveball, if you try to throw a better one, it slips out or you hang it. If you throw a really good sinker, it's probably the right speed, and considering today, I didn't know back then, had the right spin rate. If you go to throw one better, you might throw it too hard and throw through the sink, or get your hand in a slightly different place so that the grip is wrong. So don't try and make it better. Just try and do it again.